This is the Sony XSP-N1BT, what I believe to be the first and only double-din car stereo that was exclusively designed to be used with your phone. It was released in 2014 and it was designed to be used with Sony phones, Android phones at the time, but it's surprisingly still relevant in 2023. My phone for the last 3 years has been this iPhone 12 Pro Max, which unfortunately doesn't fit in this thing. I did think about putting this in my Mazda MX-5, but I've replaced it with this phone that's recording it now, which is an iPhone 15 Pro, which does fit inside this. And I'm probably not going to use it anyway, but it's a nice thing to have, and it's nice that it still works because Apple still support the app on the App Store. So I'm going to take you through how that actually works, and there's a little bit of a foible with the new iPhone. Although this is designed to be used with your phone, this does have an FM tuner and a CD player built inside it. This is the CD slot here. But the main part of it is to put it onto USB and connect up the phone. Now, for years, I've used the net dot magnetic connector and these things. That's a lightning one. That's USB-C, and the cable. They connect magnetically. So you just, if I can see it, snap that on, and this will now connect to the head unit. And I've got Kavinsky. And you can just play as normal. It'll just play whatever's on the phone. If I skip next, it'll do whatever. But you can also use the Sony app. I'm just going to turn on screen recording for this. The Sony app that's connected to the device, and you can change between tuner, CD, which obviously doesn't work because there isn't one, USB mode, which is what we were previously using, and it should, if it behaves itself, show up the tracks, but it probably isn't going to behave itself at the minute, Bluetooth audio, Bluetooth phone, and then it'll launch the Maps app as well. At the same time as connecting the USB, this has added itself on as a Bluetooth device, as Sony Car Audio. So now I can pull the plug and we're on Bluetooth audio. If I go back to the player, it's a little more finicky, but we are playing music still through Bluetooth audio. We're now recording on the 12 Pro Max, and here's the 15. This is using the same cable I have here, and I fitted the USB-C version of the connector to the iPhone 15. Unfortunately it sticks out, but there we go. So if I connect that up, in theory it should connect via USB the same way. If we go over to USB, not supported. USB not supported, which is odd. I didn't know Apple had changed the support for this thing in this particular way. So I'm going to do another cable shuffle. What I'm going to switch over to next is I'm going to switch over to a newer version of the net dot cable. This is a Gen 10. The cable we're using here is a Gen 3 or a Gen 7. It's a different connector entirely. The connector for this is a different design. It's a different design entirely. So I'm going to switch over to that. So bear with me for just a second. Okay, so we've now switched over to this black Gen 10 cable, which has a nice blue LED. And I've ditched the case on this because it was easier without it. We have the updated connector on there, so we connect and wait. And nothing's happening. Has to be the correct way around. Still no support. Very strange. You would think the newer connector at least would work. But let's do an on-the-fly switch over to another cable that I have available here without knocking everything over, which is USB-C cable from a GoPro. This is years old really, because I've had a couple of GoPros for years. Let's connect this up. and it's reading the iPod. And this time we have Power Glove. Yeah, I'm not sure why these cables don't work on the iPhone 15 and they do on the 12. Really not sure at all. But the Bluetooth works in the same way. It can also connect up to the Sony in the same way, and I can use the app in the same way. And turning on the screen recording briefly so you can see that. We have the same Bluetooth audio, we can switch between the apps, we can use USB. It essentially works the same way with the iPhone 15, and it has added itself in as a Bluetooth device. So I'm really not sure why that has happened, why that changed, but what I can do with this, at least, is actually fit it inside the phone. It's inside the head unit. That's how it was intended to work anyway. If I chose to use it like that, I could. And we still have the audio that is working via USB. Even though I don't need this, it's a nice novelty to have this compatibility with the phone and the head unit. So that's just a look at this device. I definitely think it's a good novelty to have, and it probably isn't going to go in the car, but it's going to be a bit of a collector's item. I haven't seen another one of these. I know there was briefly a single DIN, but not much else. So I hope this was vaguely interesting, and I will see you on the next one.